Hey guys, and welcome back to the Blue Hour channel. We are going to be going over my Medkit and why I think having a Medkit is the most essential thing when you're running dogs. So, you never know when an accident is going to happen. It can happen to anybody, it can happen to any dog, and the best way to manage an injury is to have your Medkit. I want to preface and say this as a disclaimer. This does not replace vet care. You aren't having a Medkit so that you don't have to go to the vet. You have a Medkit so that you can address a wound or injury on the way to the vet so that a wound doesn't become severe. Controlled bleeding, addressing and splinting, anything that you're doing is not replacing vet care. It is to manage the wound or injury until you get to the vet so that the vet can address and take care of your dog. But everything that in here, I also want to say, don't use without a vet telling you the purpose of them or explaining how to use them and when to use them, how to use them. But I will get into it. Everything in this Medkit has a purpose, has a reason, and I know how to use them. So I will first get into some of the most, everything in here is essential to me, in my opinion, and that's garbage. Sorry about that, guys. I did use some of the stuff in here recently, so some of it is garbage. I just tossed back in. I do need to go through it. I do need to get more stuff back into it. But the first thing I want to show, which I think is essential, is this. This is baking soda. Baking soda, flour, cornstarch, septic powder, it all works the same. Septic powder is probably the best to use, I will say that. But I have baking soda because I like the way it works and it's cheaper. I actually have some right here in my grooming area because what this does is it cauterizes a dog's wound or even a human wound. It helps to clot up the blood, absorb the blood, and helps control the wound faster. Next, I will show this little gadget. There's a couple items in here from a dog first aid kit that I got, but the kit itself was really small, and I wanted a bigger med kit to fit more stuff in. But this is a tick remover. You go like that to get around the tick, it closes, and then you hold it like this, and you pull out. Don't twist, pull out. I've used this quite a few times. It works wonders. And also I do want to say, if you do use this, sanitize it after every use. You don't want to have any nastiness on that, especially if you're going to be using it on multiple different dogs. I have a whistle. It's a dog whistle. It really isn't that spectacular. Like, it's literally just a whistle. But you never know, if an injury happens, you can't get to your dogs, you whistle, someone might hear you, might come and help out. Next, I have some forceps. If your dog stepped onto a thorn, a stick, anything, you can use these to help pull out that stick or twig, thorn, whatever happened. Even like if some reason your tick remover disappeared, you can use that as well. Remove a stinger. Next is some trauma shears. These shears are meant to cut through clothing, thick harnesses, which obviously for the purpose of the dogs, it would be to cut through collars, cut through harnesses. Maybe they're wearing a jacket and they get injured. This is meant to cut it off of them so you're not having to move a dog who is injured and not wanting to move. These are pretty valuable. I have not had to use them on any clothing of the dog, but I have had to use them on gauze. Next is matches and a lighter. You never know when these will come in handy. They work really well. If you know, you know. But anytime that you have, say, something that needs burned off real quick, I'm not talking about burning the dog, but I mean one of the items in here that you need to burn real quick. Works great. Like tying off something and burning it. Put that back. Bear with me when I'm putting stuff back. I want to make sure everything's back in its place, not just scattered all over the place. I have a bunch of wound saline. This is to irrigate wounds, helps to clean them. A lot of stuff in here is to clean wounds out. I feel like making sure the wound is clean before wrapping it is essential, but I have tons and tons of saline. Now this is not eye saline, it is wound saline. I do have eye saline in here as well to help irrigate an eye. This is the eye wash saline. I have both versions. And that is everything that's in the top of this first pocket. Next, I'll go to the dog nose balm. This helps for any cracks on their nose. Loki actually does get hyperkeratosis on one side of his nose, so I do like to use this to keep it hydrated. I swear by it. It helps to keep the nose area moist and free from cracking. Next, I have some Vaseline. Same type of purpose, keep stuff hydrated. Sorry about that. Then I have some wrap. It is a little thin, but it's kind of easier to use on a dog that is a little bit smaller, or even between toes if you have to. But this is the purpose of, you put on gauze, you wrap around the gauze. This holds it in place because it stretches and holds to itself. I do also have tape, but I like that for sure. In this next pocket, I'll bring all this stuff over to you guys. I have cotton swabs for ears or even wounds. I have gloves. These have a little bit of saline on them so you can handle the dog while also cleaning the wound. It's a lot easier when it's on your hand rather than like trying to wipe. Then I have saline wipes, more just cleaning supplies for keeping a wound clean. More cotton swabs. And then this is one of the most essential things that I have in this med kit. This was part of that little kit that I was explaining before. It came with a little handbook. This handbook kind of gives you a little bit of a guide for basic first aid on how to dress wounds, how to remove ticks, how to muzzle if you have to muzzle. And I actually will get into more about muzzling because I do have muzzles. It has how to give breathing and clearing airway, the Heimlich maneuver on a dog, CPR for the dog, checking for heartbeats, how you can prevent heat stroke, seizures. Poison even has their phone number on it. And then on the back it has emergency contacts of all the main hotlines. So poison, pet recovery, emergency disaster, legal hotline. Most of it is poison hotline, but I swear by that, having that on hand, because it is a little kind of guide to help you knowing what you need to do if something was to happen, God forbid. And sometimes even like in the spring of the moment, you know what you're supposed to do, but because everything's so escalated, you freeze up. That's a nice little booklet just to kind of check your bases of what needs to be done. Then in this pocket, I have alcohol prep pads, another cleaning agent. This is some tape. And then this is a thermal blanket. It's to help keep and get temperature back up. Say your dog, falls into a creek or something that had some ice, like the ice broke, they fell in, and you need to warm up your dog. Thermal blanket is great for helping to get that heat back up so that they're not going hypothermic. And then the last pocket on the top here has sting relief. So again, if your dog ended up getting stung by a bee, bit by a spider, something that is causing a lot of irritation, sting relief helps with that. And then I have iodine, again, another cleaner. This actually helps to keep out bacteria as well. I do need to get more of this stuff though. I haven't had to use it, but have to get more of it. And that is the top of the Medkit. Get into, oh, need to put that back. Get into the next pocket. Up here, like I said, I have muzzles. I have 7 different sizes muzzles, but what's in here currently is the sizes of my dogs. So I have one for the Siberians and one for the Loki, because he's a little bit bigger. I swear on teaching dogs to be comfortable wearing muzzles because you never know when you're going to need one. And I never thought that I was going to need one until I needed one. And it just kept me safe, it kept the dog safe, it kept the vet safe. And it makes the dog comfortable and not stressed out in an already stressful situation. Like if they're in pain, they can definitely bite if you touch where it hurts. They'll say, ow, that hurts, and they might nip at you. And that's not a fault of their own. They're just reacting because it hurts. And having a dog trained to wear a muzzle prevents you from getting injured, it prevents the dog from injuring further, and prevents other people who are touching and handling your dog from getting injured. So I swear by this. Also, I do want to put a disclaimer for these type of muzzle as well. This is not a muzzle meant to be worn for long periods of time. This is just while you're handling the dog for a moment while you're addressing wounds and preventing them from biting at whoever's handling them. So use that disclaimer. Don't put this on your dog expecting them to not bite and then leave it on your dog for 15, 20 minutes or even longer. It should not be on there. This can cause them to not be able to breathe if they're highly stressed and they're trying to breathe. It can prevent breathing and panting and can cause them to overheat. So use this wisely and be educated on that before using it. Next, we'll get into this pocket. This is Epsom salt. Epsom salt is nice as a relaxer if they are, if they have a little tenderness in like a muscle, pull the muscle. You put this in a little bit of water. You soak that foot, leg, whatever in some Epsom salt to kind of help relax the area. Obviously, it's the same idea with humans. It's great for muscle relief. So that's the purpose of Epsom salt, to help relax. Next, in this pocket, I'm not going to get into this pocket up here because this is just human stuff. It's Neosporin, AAA antibiotic, Band-Aids, and then anti-itch cream, I believe. I have peroxide. Everyone knows that peroxide is pretty handy in the aspect of if your dog eats something it shouldn't have, you give a little bit of peroxide and it encourages the dog to throw up whatever that they ate. Of course, do not give peroxide to something or to a dog that's ingested something that would do more damage on the way out, kind of like poisons, chemicals, and stuff like that. That's more for like solids. Say that a dog ended up swallowing a, I don't know, small little item, insert small little item that I can't even think of, but if they ended up swallowing an item that could get obstructed, great to give it to them right after you saw them doing that and causes them to throw up. Next is triple antibiotic ointment for dogs. I have used this countless times on wounds. It works really great. It helps to keep the area hydrated, keeps the area clean from bacteria, and helps to promote faster and more efficient healing. Next, I have a mosquito repellent for the dogs. This helps to prevent them from getting bombarded from mosquitoes when we're on hikes or in the woods. I like to have that on hand just in case if they need an extra spritz. And then in the last item in the middle pocket here is nail files. You never know when you need to, if your dog stepped on something and their nail cracked or broke open, you need to file down a sharp little spot on their nail because it's poking into their toe. Swear by having nail files for that purpose. Then we'll get into this pocket. There's 2 things in this pocket. This is similar to the nose balm, but is for paws. It is Musher's Secret. You could use this on the nose as well. It's just a balm. You kind of can put their paw right here and rub it, or you can get it on your hand and rub it on their paw. Again, help to hydrate their paw, keep their paw from cracking, damaging, especially when you're running on, rough terrain. It can cause a lot of abrasions on their feet, so that helps to heal and prevent any further calluses or stuff that could break open. And then this is similar to that same type of wrap that I had before, but this is a little bit thicker, again, for that to go around your dressing of gauze and stuff like that. And I know I haven't touched on any gauze that's in here. That's because I am out of it. I need to get some more. Along with gloves, I do put gloves in here so that you're not getting, you know, stuff from the dog on your hands. The last pocket here has hand sanitizer. Again, that is for human use, not dog use. You use this on your own hands before and after addressing a wound. You don't want to put bacteria that's on your hands inside the dog, and you don't want to get bacteria from the dog left on your hands. Then I have cotton balls. Cotton balls have a good use of absorbing blood, or what's also left in this last pocket in the front here, which is, I'm throwing stuff, which is ear cleanser. So these two work pretty well, good hand in hand. Ear cleanser for if they get dirt in their ear, clean out their ear. And then the very last item is booties. And these are booties that they don't wear anymore. They are old, but I kept them because if your dog stepped on something, cut their paw open, and you're dressing that wound, but the hike back or the journey back to your vehicle to get them to the vehicle, to get them to the vet, if it's muddy, all this stuff in here is stuff that can get wet and soiled. This is waterproof. So if your dog can walk, this helps to keep their paw and their dressings that you just did dry and clean. So I do like to have extra booties. There's actually 3 of them, one of them's missing. So it worked even more perfectly for the fact that this is just for the Medkit anyway. All right, and that is everything in my Medkit. Like I said, there's a couple things that I need to replace. But I swear on having a Medkit in the aspect of you don't know when an injury can happen. And if you have the means to dress a wound while on the way to the vet, more power to you. Now, again, I just want to preface, this is not to replace vet med care. This is to dress and treat injuries on the way to the vet. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this type of content, if you have any questions about what's in the Medkit or anything like that, you can ask me, or even go to your vet, ask them what they think that you should need if you're doing certain sports. I swear by, everything that's in here. But thank you for watching. Like, follow, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.